All right, I'm very pleased to introduce DK, who's going to talk about ChatMap, open mapping with chat apps. Take it away.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I'll just on the top, I'm presenting this for a colleague who was unable to make it. So this isn't my tool. I've tried to get as much knowledge about it as possible, but if you have questions, I might not be able to answer them. But we'll be talking about a prototype that we've been working on for the last couple of months called ChatMap. It is a field mapping tool that HOT has developed at chatmap.hotosm.org. And at HOT, we work in a lot of different contexts around the globe, a lot of different communities at all different levels of education, of different cultural contexts. And we found that mapping can look really easy for some of us, for those of us who, obviously in this community, mapping can be quite easy because we're into it. But for others, it can be quite difficult, just not understanding what geography is or other types of challenges. So we thought, like, what if we could use existing apps that people already use daily and leverage those for performing mapping in different and kind of unique ways. 3.5 billion people in the world use different instant messaging apps, WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal. They use it every day. It's incredibly popular, even among people, in the most vulnerable contexts. So we thought we would try to use something like WhatsApp to help people try and map. So some of the things that we were working on, like the challenges that we wanted to accomplish or that we wanted to overcome, is have a low barrier to entry for mapping. So there's no need to install new apps. Most people already use something like this. You can learn how to use it in 1 minute since you're already fairly familiar with the tool. There's no installations or integrations needed. Basically, everyone can access and contribute to the map. It's chat-based, so like you can communicate within the app already. So there's easy support. They can be, group chats can be moderated. It's a familiar interface. So it falls under one of HOT's values, which is putting people first. And it works offline. You can kind of use these tools offline. You can post and have them send later, or you can, and it also relies on GPS in many cases for doing the location stuff, which you usually have. And this works even for pictures and video. So for us, like in OSM, I think there's a kind of a standard schema for mapping, but I think people want to share a lot of other things as well. So people get to decide what they want to map with these tools because they get to choose like what the pictures that they're taking or what their needs are within their local context and aren't necessarily confined to mapping within the way that like OSM or other mapping tools might require or assume. So in that way, this tool is like addressing community needs through mapping in the way that they want and in the way that they might need within their communities. So how it works, simply put, you have a conversation on like a WhatsApp group or on Telegram or another tool. You can ask people to join, build a group of local mappers to start sharing locations and content media. It can be text messages, it can be photos, it can be videos even. And then at some point, the moderator of the group, or anyone really, can export the whole chat and then upload it to and open the zip file in chatmap.hotosm.org. And what ChatMap would do is it parses that into GeoJSON, into map data, and puts it on something like UMap or another type of mapping app, however you want to display that. It works with different messaging apps, like I said. So we've tried it out in a few different places, and we've had community members also try it out and let us know how it works. In Medellin, people were going out field mapping for landslide-affected areas. So it's a useful tool for disaster risk assessment. In Colombia, for monitoring socioeconomic conflicts, you can see on this picture here, somebody took and posted some soil erosion, some exposed piping and some trash next to a road, I believe. So you can kind of walk along the road, take pictures of things, send a location, and at the end of the day, you can pull that all off and put it on a map, and you can see the route that this person probably took to walk up this road, noting different items that might be interesting to them or might be interesting to the mapping activity. In Mexico, people just sort of walked along a whole road and noted down any type of mobility issues. So this can be, and because it's a whole group, in a WhatsApp group or whatever, anyone, they can sort of put out whatever that whatever type of content they want to put out here. In some interesting cases, like someone can be taking a picture of something that maybe requires more lab, like maybe they go back and they measure something and they just want to take a quick picture of it, get a location, and then they can go back and check it out later. So for example, in monitoring water quality, if you've got sensors out in the field, you can just go out, take a picture of it, send the location, come back and analyze that afterwards. Someone went out, or a group of people went out and mapped community libraries. And by the way, all these are on UMAP. Hot set up our own UMAP server for this as just like a simple way for anyone in our communities to go through and map anything that they want. Again, for disaster response, taking pictures of floods as they are, so you can even have like a sort of a big blast and just have people sending in, whatever you see out in, wherever you are, take a picture, send a location, and that can be kind of really instant, almost information for some kind of agency who's interested in handling disaster response. I'll keep going. More taking pictures of trees. So I think as this sort of prototype, as we've been developing this prototype, we're thinking about like the future of field mapping, like how computerized mapping in the remote mapping sense. I think we've been talking about how it's pretty rapidly changing with the onset of AI, with a lot of big models doing mapping, doing remote mapping. We think that a lot of the value of community building and a lot of the value of mapping comes from being out in the field and building that really high quality on the ground data. And so we think this is another tool for us to engage with the communities, teach people about mapping, get really interesting and useful map data out of the field and into however people need that to go. And it's not necessarily OSM, but we are also looking at how do we do this in OSM as well? How do we get this kind of map data into OSM? So we partnered with through a project called Tech to the Rescue with a firm called Fulton Ring, doing a little bit of AI computer vision. So using ChatMap, people can go out and they can take pictures of things. In this context, we've been looking at road quality. So we developed a tool for automated OSM tagging, and we've tested it out, I think, pretty much only with road quality, so surface tags. So someone goes out, they take a picture of a road, it gets uploaded to ChatMap, we'll take that, run it through our OSM tagger, and create a bunch of OSM tags with that, with a location, whether it's paved, unpaved, I think a few different, whatever the tags are, I'm not exactly sure. Do all the validation, and then conflate that. So this is a really interesting project. I was working on it a little bit with the team there. It's running on, I think you can run it on either Llama Vision and Lava. And so this is kind of we just finished this up a couple of weeks ago. And so we've got that on our GitHub. And so taking this type of information from ChatMap, from these photos, Of course, we can manually create insights from that, but we're also playing around with how we can also do kind of large amounts of other types of OSM tagging and in other ways. So I think that's it for this talk. If you're interested in partnering or to contribute on any of these tools, if you're interested in learning more about it, you can email us, or you can check us out on GitHub, or you can try it out yourself. Create a WhatsApp or a Signal group, and try to do your own mapping in the field. Thank you.